Hello! This is the RPG Crawler, and welcome to another RPG News Roundup, this time for January 6th, 2024, first weekend of the year, where each week I take a look back at the week in tabletop, computer, and console role-playing game news and bring you the highlights. As always, we will start off with computer and console role-playing game news. As soon as I start to talk. Oh well. Because this is the beginning of the year, things are pretty light, just as they have been for the last week or so. We'll start off with a general piece of news. It appears that The Sinking City, which has had its fair share of issues regarding publishers, is now going to be under the sole purview of Frogwares. Future releases will be solely published by Frogwares, and a new version will include a number of bug fixes and optimizations. It looks like there's also going to be a new DLC, Merciful Madness. Then it appears that Dungeon Crawler Legends of Grimrock is getting a Switch release. It has been available on PC for well over a decade now. Wow, I'm feeling very old now. It is one of the early iterations of the modern Dungeon Crawler Renaissance back in the day. The eShop will have its Switch release on January 15th, 2024. It looks as if Fate/Samurai Remnants is getting its first DLC in February, called Records Fragment Kane Command Championship. It'll be the first of 3 DLCs and involve a tournament. Doesn't all of Fate involve a tournament? Anyway, Lost in Fantaland is getting a console release. It has been in early access on PC since September 2022. It looks like the PlayStation 5 and Nintendo Switch will be getting a release each in June of 2024. It has you playing an adventure in a procedurally generated world with combat on an 8x8 grid field. Yasha Legends of the Demon Blade looks like it's getting a release in October. It'll be targeted for the PC, PS4, PS5, Xbox Series X/S, and the Switch. Set in a fantasy version of Edo, Japan, it'll have roguelike elements and have you dealing with various demons. As far as actual releases go, Daggerfall Unity got its 1.0 release. Daggerfall Unity is, of course, a conversion of the Elder Scrolls II Daggerfall using the Unity engine and supporting mods. It, like the original game right now, is available free. Adventure Quest 8-bit Dungeons & Doom Knights is a pixel graphics, retro-style RPG where you play the young hero Artix. After becoming a paladin, he returns home to find it destroyed by an army of the undead, so you set off to defeat the undead and destroy their Doom Knight master, or replace him. Shadow Vault is a strategy RPG set in an alternate history where you set off to face off against an evil army of mutants in a post-nuclear war. It includes various unique unit classes that can build on their abilities over time. Finally, there is Skirmish Squad, released into early access. It is a roguelike dungeon crawler where you choose a trio of characters and face off against groups of 3 to 5 enemies each. With that, let's move into tabletop role-playing game news, starting with a little essay posted by Ben Riggs, author of Slaying the Dragon, A Secret History of Dungeons & Dragons. He's a scholar of tabletop role-playing game history and has basically posted an examination of what the immediate future of the tabletop role-playing game industry has influenced by the recent OGL debacle of last year, the rise of actually it's been the year before last now, Anyway, the rise of the next edition of D&D and the fracturing of the industry among multiple systems thereafter. It has received a mixture of praise and criticism, with many industry professionals believing that, while well considered, his results are potentially mistaken. Now, I have my own thoughts on the matter. I actually agree with his things. I'm not going to get into detail on it. I agree with a lot of them, but for different reasons than what he's posted. I will note that when every professional of an industry does not believe that their industry is about to go into a down slump, that's usually a sign that it's about to go into a down slump. Because that's what's called a top signal in trading and such. Is when everybody agrees on something, then chances are good it's about to turn around. So the essay is worth a read whether you agree with its conclusions or not. Onward to minor and PDF releases, we will start with Read Magic, the compilation from Orphan Bookworm Productions. It is a collection of something like 250 spells from multiple systems for the Pathfinder role-playing game. It looks like a combination of spells from previously existing other fantasy role-playing games, mostly D&D. Then Never Getting Out of Jail is an adventure for Pathfinder role-playing game system that is in dire need of a descriptive summary and is only here as a bad example. S-Class Characters. War Priest from Samurai Sheepdog is a full 20-level S-Class conversion of War Priest for the Pathfinder role-playing game. It offers new blessing options, a new subdomain, some feats, spells, and other class features. Kobolds of Frostwind Forest is a 5th edition adventure that features kobolds as the heroes. Groups of kobolds with resistance to cold, a few of them good, wish to be heroes. The supplement contains new spells, new races, new prestige classes, mutations, and more designed for 3.5 in similar systems. The Tidewalker's Haunted Hoard is a Halloween-themed treasure hunt 5th edition one-shot set in a small seaside town, suited for level 8 characters as the party tasked with retrieving a treasure from a dangerous cove. Legendary Games has Templars and Tyrants in the Legendary Classes series for 5th edition. It is a class expansion that offers numerous options for champions of good and evil. Darkthin Publishing has Am I Evil, a 5th edition module for 5th level characters, or 10th level. It kind of says both, so I don't know which one it is. Anyway, it's suited for just a few sessions. Kobold Press has Marauders of the Margrave for 5th edition. It contains information on the Margrave Forest from the Midgard setting, with landmarks, characters, resources, and relics, and so on. Adventure Ripples has a few 5th edition offerings. A Winter Wraith's Plight is an adventure in a remote town where a harsh winter has brought an unimaginable horror, a proliferation of winter wraiths. They also have Rifts of Cold Reality, the Metal's Arrival, also set in an icy wasteland. The temperature has been getting ever colder, and a rift in the fabric of reality is opened, allowing an incredibly powerful dimension-hopping goblin into this world. The Straightway Lost is an adventure and sourcebook for 5th edition available in print. Inspired by a fantastic Renaissance Italy, you must save the city of Florence, yourself, and maybe the world on a trip through heaven and hell. Dark Wizard Games has Hanging Coffins of the Vampire Queen for 5th edition. It is a 5th edition conversion of the original Osric module featuring a vampire queen in her horrible trap-filled lair. I reviewed this, or at least I reviewed the Osric / 5th edition or 1st edition version sometime back that you can look up on the channel. I actually have another of their adventures that I have. It's next on my to review list. I've got one review that's going to be posted, like I think this coming week, and then I'm going to get to that one, and then I'm going to get some more other stuff because I've got like a dozen things to review and growing, and I need to get off my butt and review things. Anyway, Seraphina's Song is an entry into a series of system-neutral one-shot adventures for 5th edition. Not system-neutral, setting-neutral. This one deals with a sacred grove, which is said to hold gems, and where the fish have stopped biting. Mimic Mansion is yet another 5th edition one-shot. This has the characters approached by a teapot mimic who claims to be a wizard who has accidentally transformed himself. The party must explore a building where things are within our mimics. Beast of the Frozen Waste from Critical Crafting is a 5th edition supplement that includes 5 Tundra-themed encounters, several original stat blocks, VTT tokens, new items with cards, new spells with cards, maps, feats, new subclass, and a new race. Grim Press has several entries into the Nemesis series. Each one details a campaign boss for use in multiple tiers of play in 5th edition adventures. There's Raisis the Endearing, a Necromancer, Izrani the Firestarter, a Pyromancer, and Ymaris the Disciple is a Dragonborn sword to fulfill the wishes of the Tyrant of the Frostvale. Flawless Walrus has a few more entries into the Souls of Drevlin series of 5th edition subclasses. There's the Purgeborn Warlock, Private Eye Ranger, and Oath of Providence Paladin. The School of Chromatic Elements is a new wizard subclass that can change to align with a different element each day, along with new spells, a new background, and a new magic item. Druid's Secret of the Primal Circle is a new revised edition for 2024. It is a 5th edition compendium of druidic material with this revised edition, including the first 4 chapters from the original version, along with 17 plus new subclasses and 100 plus new spells as well as a martially oriented druid subclass, druid class, the Dire Druid. I'm not sure how much of this is new to this version or which is just leftover text from the original. Anyway, Rogue, the Drakeheart from Shadeside Entertainment is a 5th edition subclass that features a rogue that experiments with draconic remains, basically grafting them on. RPG Gamer has a few more different classes for 5th edition. There's their fantasy classes Orichalcum Sentinel, which features a tattoo-inspired fighter. Basically a fighter that changes themselves with tattoos and that makes themselves super strong. Anyway, there's also Modern Horror classes Paranormal Investigator and Modern Horror classes Tech Specialist, for exactly what they say on the tin, suited for Modern Horror style settings with 5th edition rules. And Publishing has To Save a Kingdom for Level Up Advanced 5th Edition. It's a conversion of their classic trilogy of adventures. It features the epic adventures To Slay a Dragon, To Stake a Vampire, and To Smite a Fiend, all in Advanced 5th Edition rule set. I haven't played these, although I have read through them, at least their third. Some of these go back to 3rd edition. So they've been around for a while, if I remember right. Maybe Pathfinder, but they've been around for a while. Anyway, Purple Martin Games has Utility Spells Redux for Advanced 5th Edition. It updates some of the utility spells created by the author for the Gate Pass Gazette to allow other designers to use them. D12 Monthly Issue 31, Tales of Argosa, is another entry into the RPG zine. This one is a special issue focused on a new tabletop RPG from Pickpocket Press, which I need to take a look at because they usually do good stuff. The Artificer class for Shadow Dark is exactly what it says, a mini supplement that features a magic item supplement for magic item focused class for steampunk and dungeons punk style campaigns using the Shadow Dark RPG system, with a full class table, a couple new spells, and a random magic item table. Crusaders Chronicle Issue 4 from Basic Expert is a zine for old school style games, this one focusing on thieves and assassins. It has material for BX as well as castles and crusades. You Never Should Have Come Here is an adventure for old school essentials and similar systems that features a spurned warlock, which has placed an infertility curse upon a regional land. Now, after many years, a local acolyte has uncovered a potential way to reverse the ritual while the original warlock is believed to be dead. Nightmare Over Ragged Hollow is an OSR-style adventure that is an expanded edition of a Ragged Hollow Nightmare. It is a sandbox adventure centered around a quaint town with various mini-sites around it. Beyond the Wall, A Kingless Realm is a new sourcebook for Beyond the Wall and other adventures. It introduces a realm where forgotten evil stirs, along with an expanded character creation and campaign options, game mastering advice, new character playbooks, and new rituals, magic items, and more. Pariah, Spirits of the Here and Now is a zine-linked bestiary, including creatures and entities encountered in a sandbox adventure atop the Wailing Dunes. Pickpocket Press has Deck of Signs, a collection of 50 illustrated cards for an open question oracle for when you need more than simple yes or no answers. Troll Godfather Press has Monsters 2.7 edition, a new version of the Monsters RPG rule set. They also have the Crystal Caves Challenge, a solo adventure for mid to high level Monsters and compatible systems. I say compatible systems because, of course, it is compatible with Tunnels and Trolls, which is owned by somebody else now, which is why you see a lot of Monsters stuff. Anyway, Arian Games has the Dragon Mage's Retreat for advanced fighting fantasy, an adventure which features a village under threat from a dragon where the heroes must brave the depths of the Dragon Mage's Retreat in order to find a magical staff to deal with it. Columbia Games has a series of offerings for Harn World. I will never understand how people spend so much on that system. Anyway, there is a set of Harnick occupation. It's not that it's a good system, not a good system. It's just wow. Okay. Anyway, there's a set of Harnick occupations, each detailing a particular job, which I'm now going to attempt to sell you on. The Glassworkers, the Harpers, and the Ratters each have their own coverage and their own book. There's also Wulenheim Town from the Kingdom of Menglana, which details the people, history, and information on that town. Additional Journeys as a supplement for Dragonbane from Philip Reed Games. It features 8 to 10 new encounter ideas for each of the 5 places in the Misty Vale, detailed in the core rulebook. Perils and Princesses is an OSR-style RPG that features gritty fairy tale adventurers featuring adventuring princesses, each with a gift from a fairy godmother to assist them. The Mask and the Sword is an historical and fantastic RPG set between the 1600s to the French Revolution. It features historical events, legendary characters, as well as setting info, a tarot game, a choose-your-own-adventure type of intro scenario, and more. Spacers 180 Degrees is a sort of rocket opera-style RPG. It is a rule set designed for quick sci-fi play using a D20 system. This is a playtest edition. The Untrodden Ways, White Bluff, is an urban fantasy adventure module for Fate featuring a small-town American setting. It focuses on the urban legends surrounding it. Nova City Heroes, The Vanishing Saga Part 1 is a campaign for mutant and masterminds. It features a scenario where 95% of the world's heroes just vanish in an instant, and a few that are left are new, untested, and untried, left with the fate of the world at their hands. Seeds of Destruction from Black Lilith Moon is a scenario for Candela Obscura, I will never remember how to pronounce that correctly, where scientists testing something has started aging their human test subjects at a rapid pace. Now they're looking into something else. Then the Ethereal Mistress is another offering from Candela Obscura, this one an investigation into an apparition that has started to terrify the residents of Newfair. Hunters of the Occult is a tabletop RPG that has the players playing professional monster hunters in the 19th century. They must investigate and deal with malicious creatures. Throne Bearers of the Death Goddess is an adventure suite for Cthulhu Eternal set in the Roaring Twenties. It starts in a remote dig site in Iraq where the investigators are caught in a flash flood and a murderous plot. Total Party Skills has several offerings for Girls Gone Vampire. Dinner is Served is a sourcebook that includes random encounter and location tables, dozens of NPC templates, guidance for various activities PCs may do, etc. Then Members Only is a standalone sourcebook that collects several species of vampires, cults, and supernatural dangers together and includes expanded material not found in the other sourcebooks. Same thing goes for Sweet Dreams, Better Angels, Strange Bedfellows, and Inner Demons, each featuring a different set of groups. Teen Spirit is an RPG from Fat Goblin Games. It features a 90s where the world has been plunged into a perpetual twilight for decades, for a decade at least, haunted by spirits. The kids of the new generation can perceive the spectral realm and communicate with them. Luck is said to be the easiest RPG in the world, and a simple initial offering meant to provide a basic framework to play different genres with rules ripped from the Tales Untold system. And it looks to be basically a starting point so they can use the funds to build on another RPG. Splintered is an adventure for Apocalypse Prevention Inc. that serves as a companion for API Worldwide Canada. This one features a notorious murderer who has escaped and now a building is splintered by space and time. The Insecticate is a supplement for tiny supers that features insectoid villains, a group of bug-themed supercriminals who are plaguing Century City. Finally, there's Extreme Dungeon Mastery 2nd Edition from Tracy and Curtis Hickman. A newly revised edition of the classic includes material that is applicable to a wide range of RPGs, including tips for understanding your players, techniques for addressing conflict at the gaming table, ideas on story structure, sessions, and adventure design, various instructions for practical effects, as well as an entire XD20 2nd Edition role-playing system. And now, let's take a look at crowdfunding campaigns. Remember that contributing to a crowdfunding campaign should be done only at your own risk. Doing so is no guarantee of even receiving a product. Mentioned here is not an endorsement, but is for informational purposes only. We'll go into tabletop role-playing game crowdfunding campaigns, starting with Unearthed Spoils Anthology 1, suited for 5th edition, incorporates a number of class archetypes, backgrounds, spells, monsters, items, and NPCs from Grimm Press. It looks like the collection will take material from volumes 1 to 5 and put it into a single-tome print book. Pet DM has one-shot dungeons, Enchanted Forest. It will be a collection of 3 ready-to-play adventures for 5th edition, all centered around a magical forest. Mausoleum of the Ashes is to be a 5th edition dungeon crawler adventure. It looks like it's designed for 3rd level and will include Volume 1 of the World of Celia setting guide. 1001 Nights D&D Quest looks to be a collection of 100 quests, 100 or more quests for 5th edition, with an additional quest meant to be put into place for each backer, inspired, of course, by the tale of Sherazade. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right. And I know that my voice detector I use this wrote it as Charizard, which I'm pretty sure it's not a giant. She's not a giant lizard. She's a mythological kind of thing. It's the princess that was going to be put to death, and she told the vizier that she was married to, or the caliph that she was married to, a different tale each night to prolong her life, and then after like 1001 nights, her execution was staged. Scales and Shadows is to be a one-shot 5th edition adventure involving some new draconic creatures set in an arcane realm of ancient sorcery within the heart of the Blackwood. A mad sorcerer is looking to unravel the mysteries of his draconic heritage. What the Tide brings is to be a 5th edition campaign taking characters from levels 1 to level 4, set in a mysterious archipelago. A small fishing village's history tells of an ancient empire that achieved power in the magic arts. When the empire was overrun, the conquerors were unable to find the secrets, which now supposedly rest amidst the islands. That sounds awful familiar. I don't know if I may have covered this before. Anyway, The Missing Children of Fahrenheim is to be another 5th edition adventure. It has the characters within the city of Fahrenheim, where children are vanishing, and yet no one seems to notice save for a single persistent reporter. Architects of the Deep has The Madness of Dr. Ingot. It is a steampunk-inspired one-shot for 5th edition, where the characters enter a tavern. I've noticed that a lot. Everybody just seems to be using players for characters now, but there's a very important distinction there, and I believe that the lack of that distinction has resulted in quite a few misunderstandings and some problems that we're seeing with the role-playing game system. Anyway, the characters enter a tavern and witness an argument occurring between the mayor and Dr. Ingot. Later on, the town is attacked by giant automatons, which has the party then set out to discover the location of Dr. Ingot's workshop. The Rust and the Raider is to be a 5th edition adventure with a steampunk pirate theme set in a floating sky city. The campaign mixes pirate tales and steampunk aesthetics. The Decoy, a tale of Levanthria, is to be a 5th edition adventure set in the world of Levanthria. It is the setting of A.P. Beswick's series of dark fantasy work. The Decoy will be a heist adventure set in the city of Escella, where a heroic thief Virio needs a distraction, and the party will provide it. The Parliament of Owls is to be a ridiculous D&D one-shot full of mysteries and puzzles set in the village of Moss Hill. The nights are getting longer than they should be, and nature herself seems to be rebelling against civilization. The Feast of Hunger will be a 5th edition one-shot where a supernatural force has enticed a settlement into an unnatural feast. The party stumbles upon the empty settlement and must figure out what happened. From the Burrow looks to be a small book of encounters and magic items for 5th edition. It will also include the Pyre Knight Ranger subclass with some homebrew monster stat blocks. 5e Tome of Terrors Volume 2, Aberrations, looks to be a monster supplement that will cover new aberrations, each accompanied by a one-shot adventure. It looks like it'll include 3 original monstrous entities, with each one featuring a separate one-shot adventure that focuses on it. D12 Petty Criminals looks to be a collection of 12 colorful criminal characters, theoretically for any fantasy tabletop RPG, although specifically compatible for 5th edition. They'll come out with character sheets for 5th edition, character backgrounds, and a bounty sheet handout for the players so they can chase them down. Legendary Locations from Kabuto Games will be a set of ready-made locations for fantasy RPGs, such as 5th edition, Shadow Dark, and other OSR systems. It'll include locations ranging from villages into the inns and taverns to religious houses and further. There are a few offerings for the Make 100 Kickstarter promo. I don't know that it's exactly correct since that's supposed to be 100 bespoke items, but that's okay. Hidden Rooms and Secrets for 5e looks to produce 100 5th edition compatible battle maps for 4 hidden rooms to drop it into campaigns along with loot, creatures, etc. And then 100 sidekicks for 5e looks to compile 100 sidekicks with comprehensive backstories for insertion into various campaigns. Harn World, Republic of Tharda will be yet another entry into the Hardbound series of supplements detailing various areas of Harn, this time of course focusing on the Republic of Tharda. Covenant Crucible Unbound looks to be a tabletop game set in a world of magic, witches, and supernatural creatures. The game uses the base game uses a 2d12 system, and I believe it's already out with 4 attributes, 9 skills, various subclasses, and characters that can be specialized. Unbound expands on the Covenant Crucible with 13 new houses, expanded lore, various NPCs, new magic items, new magic traits, expanded information on various planes, as well as 6 high-level scenarios. Whispers of the Woods looks to be a minimalistic narrative-driven hex crawl. Is set in the 18th century and based on Slavic and German legends. Era Dead West looks like it's going to be a Wild West-inspired tabletop RPG, but one where demons roam the world, jumping between dimensions and terrorizing townsfolk. It'll be using the Era D10 system. Finally, there's Eldritch Automata for the Year Zero engine. It'll be an action horror tabletop role-playing game in a dark and dangerous world where you play a survivor in a post-apocalyptic realm of horror, drama, and so forth. And on that note, I'm going to wrap things up here. This has been the RPG Crawler with my RPG News Roundup for January 6, 2024. As always, links will be below. If you like what you've seen, remember to leave like, comment, feedback, and subscribe for more RPG content. And I will be coming up with more RPG content, not only reviews, but other things. I've been spending the last few weeks just kind of brainstorming on things. I might go ahead and have like a stream or something when I get time to go ahead and talk about what I am planning to do with this channel going forward now that I've moved all of the Let's Plays over to the secondary channel. Until next time, take care and goodbye.
And if you are still watching, I would like to take the opportunity to thank my supporters, the top tiers of which are listed on the screen, without whose support I would not have been able to offer the variety of content that I have on this channel throughout the years. If you're feeling particularly generous and would like to join them, you can support the channel. There are a variety of options to do so. I have a Patreon, a Subscribe Star, as well as channel memberships enabled. If you are not in a position to contribute, simply leaving a like, a comment, or sharing my videos are all wonderful ways to help the channel grow without spending a dime, and are all greatly appreciated.